Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name's Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. 2A Views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Oh, Taco Tuesday.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. Raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum.
Like a dream. Yeah, baby. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So now we haven't been able to be on together for Taco Tuesday in a little bit. Any particular tacos on Taco Tuesday that have stood out for you in the last couple of weeks?
No, hitting my regular truck, my standard side of the road street tacos, and the kind that are $1.50 a piece. They're about that big. You just get give me 3 or 4 of them. That's good. Just put what kind? I don't care. Just put them in there. Put them in. Let's go. Whatever's hot, whatever's up, I'll take them.
Well, we have been thanks to the program. My daughter, who does most of the cooking around the house, has been specifically making sure to have some sort of a good taco. So we've had everything from shredded beef to pulled pork to various different types of fish or shrimp tacos. It's been quite pleasant.
Yeah, the truck I do, this is what they do. They do it's all corn tortilla, right? Mm-hmm. Cilantro, onion, and then you get to have beef, pork, or chicken. That's it. That's what you get. You just get to pick. Standard street tacos. That's what you get. You get some hot sauce if you want it.
There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
That's it.
I love a little. I have to admit, I love the variety that I get a little bit. But once again, the basic, gotta have the basics. Although we've been actually.
Well, you're in California. You're in California. We expect you to have things like fish and pineapples and.
No, you don't put pineapples on tacos. I've never had a pineapple on a taco.
Sure.
We reserve that for pizza.
I'm going to bet right now. I'm going to bet right now that's not true. Hold on. Let me check with Maury. That's a lie.
Oh, I still remember we went to what was the Italian place in Vegas we went?
Oh boy. I can't remember the name of it.
Anyway,
nice executive Italian restaurant.
It was a very nice executive Italian restaurant, and Mike made it a point to say, whatever you do not embarrass me by ordering pepperoni on your pizza. And I specifically said,
no, pineapple.
I'm sorry, pineapple on your pizza. I specifically said, Mike, my friend Mike over here said that you had the best pineapple and pepperoni pizza in the world.
Yes, I did.
The looks that I got.
And then you got your food spit on. And it was by us at the table. Not even at the circus. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have sworn that I had pulled down a statue of Christopher Columbus.
Hey, it's Italian American Day. Don't be coming down on my man like that.
I'm just no. All I'm saying is that offense was everywhere, and like I said, I just told him. I said, "Well, Mike told me. Mike's that dude right there. Just said, hey, he got the best pepperoni pizza, or pineapple pizza." So
they knew a guy with an Italian name like Mike was not going to be making that up. They knew it was you.
Yeah,
they knew it was a guy named.
But when
Craig,
you throw in the Polish name Piwowarski, there's a possibility.
Hey, your name Michelangelo? You ever heard of that guy before? Huh?
Michelangelo Piwowarski. Got it.
That's it. It's my stage name.
There you go. Yeah, we had a good time. That was that shot is always fun, and it's coming up. I saw you sent me the countdown clock.
We're at 98 days right now. 98 days.
Woo! Gonna be fun. Always have a good time.
Yep.
It's like a family reunion.
Yep.
Time.
That's it. With 100,000 of my closest friends and relatives.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and begin to get into it. And you know how we start the day. Usually it's with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get all the AR barrels you need from the manufacturer that makes them for everybody. Well, mostly everybody at wholesale prices. Get over there, get what you need for pistol, rifle builds, any caliber you need, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. You want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market? Get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com. Hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you're looking for the best in field gear, tactical gear, outdoor gear, hunting gear, whatever it may be, you can get everything except a gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, go to their websites. If you like what you see, spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you haven't already done so, please make sure, like, share, subscribe. Let folks know where you partake of the program. And by the way, just because you partake in one place doesn't mean that you can't like us everywhere else. We are everywhere where you get your audio podcasts. We are on Rumble. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. Please, please, please like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same.
You should like, share, subscribe like a Democrat votes. Do it all over the place. Just keep voting. Keep pushing that you like us.
Vote early, vote often.
That's it.
All right, time to get into today's news stories. So the Harris-Walz campaign is, well, they're in desperation time. How do you know they're in desperation time? When they start saying they're going to go places that you know they shouldn't go, start talking to people that you know that they should not talk to, you know how bad it is. In fact, it was just announced, it was either last night or this morning, that Ms. Harris is planning on appearing in two places, one on Fox News and the other on the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, I've always said I would love to see both of the presidential candidates go on Joe Rogan because he is a guy who doesn't give an F, right? What'll be interesting is that I want you to hear this is kind of his take on where Kamala Harris is right now in the campaign. And what he thinks we're looking at. And then I want to get your perspective on how you think this particular interview might go.
It all bothers me, the fragility of the human mind. You know, that everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her. All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
So,
ta-da!
Okay, you've got.
Do you think they have her medicated? Because there was a guy that was speculating that some of the things that she says, the way she's sort of disconnected sometimes. And
I don't
she
know
goes
what,
on these rambles that it's
I don't
indicative of certain anti-anxiety medication. I do not know if this is true. See if you can find that, because really
that
shouldn't
would
say
make
that about our future president.
Yeah, our future. Yeah,
she's gonna win.
No, she's not.
She can win.
She absolutely can win. I do not think she's going to win because the more she talks, like in 2020, how bad do you have to be that you can't even make Iowa? She couldn't even compete with the mayor of South Bend.
I feel like we are in this very bizarre time where people are giving in to the bullshit in a way that I never suspected people would before. And this is one, they just want no Trump, no matter what, and they're willing to gaslight themselves. They think that, and by the way, I think Hillary could win. If Hillary jumped back in.
I've been saying that for months.
If Hillary jumped back in, I think the problem was also the money, because there was two.
All right, so I think that he has a very realistic perspective in that, primarily in that he recognizes that people are literally gaslighting themselves. You know this. You've seen it. You've interacted with people who are like, every time you try to communicate facts about the first Donald Trump presidency and the success that it was, they completely just go unhinged. He hates the Constitution.
Yeah, listen, she's I don't know. Geez, I don't know where to start. She's an idiot, right? Listen, I think it's anti-anxiety medicine that makes her talk the way she talks. I think it's because she doesn't know the facts, and she's trying to, she's trying to go with somebody told her it's great when you tell people about being middle class, and now she's stuck on stupid, right? She's going to stay there forever, giving the same points. We know she doesn't know the issues, right? If she knew the issues, she might have stood up for the ones that, I don't know, she's been the party head or the party vice president for the last 3.5 years, and all the rest of her time as a Democrat. All of a sudden, when it's coming down to the wire, though, and it's time to be president, she's going after the policies that worked for the Republican president before her. She's an absolute moron. I saw something yesterday, and it's a classic quote, but it's now being applied to her. Even in the polls, sliding even more, getting desperate. They said, and Craig, I know you've seen this before, that she is about to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Oh, yeah. Well, polls show that she's lost the 5% edge that she had coming off the convention. Because if you recall, as soon as she jumped in the race with the month-long, coronation where nobody asked her any serious questions, she did absolutely no interviews, nothing, right? All the way up through the convention, she had a 5-point lead. And then all of a sudden, it has slowly but surely just whittled away. And every time she exposes herself in public, and I say that literally, not her fist, not her body, but her brain. Every time she exposes what she's thinking in public, people like her even less. And, that's one thing that she actually shared in common with Hillary Clinton was once people got to know her, they liked her even less. Oh
yeah.
And she's desperate. Once again, when you know that when she has to go once again on Joe Rogan, who they now have, keep in mind, Joe Rogan is not a conservative. All right, let's be clear. He's probably libertarian, probably even slightly left of center ideologically. But they've labeled him as a right-wing kook, right? They hate Joe Rogan. And so for her to go on there, and by the way, Joe Rogan is also no dummy. So for her to go on there,
he's a smart man.
Yeah, for her to go on there means she's desperate. For her to go on Fox News with Bret Baier. Now, I'll tell you, once again, Bret Baier is no fan of Donald Trump. Lest we forget, this particular question right here asked Bret Baier asked President Trump. Check it out.
In 2016, you said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that, and we had tremendous. Look, we had the best economy we've ever had. The world has ever seen.
Your Vice President Mike Pence is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again. Calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called Barr a gutless pig. Your second defense secretary is not supporting you, called you irresponsible. This week, you and your White House called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock. And your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Canadian, milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
Now, mind you, a lot of those people who he just talked about are now all supporting Donald Trump running for president, number one. But I wanted to note, if he was willing to go after someone who their viewers like that, How do you think he's going to go after Kamala Harris?
You know, I honestly think between the two of them, between Bret Baier and Joe Rogan, that Bret Baier gives the tougher interview. I think that Joe Rogan softballs Kamala. I think he gets her in there and has a tell me about your life story kind of, session, and tries to get deep with her, and and what's your childhood like, and maybe he'll even get Kamala to smoke with him, but I think Bret Baier will get in there and ask some difficult questions, just because he's more concerned about what you and I are going to say the next day about whether he was equal between the two candidates or not.
You know what? I agree with that assessment. Although the one difference in the format with Joe Rogan is those interviews last, I think the shortest one I've seen is an hour and a half. You can't hide. If you're stupid, you can't hide it for an hour and a half. You can't.
And again, I don't think
you can't. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Born up to a middle class mother. Blah 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 for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think Joe's going to press her though. I mean, she might come off as an idiot, but he's not going to press her.
I think he's going to continue. I think he's going to ask questions that is going to make her give the word salads. And I don't think it's going to be a lot of push. I think he's going to give her a lot of rope. And he's gonna let her hang herself. And that's usually the way Joe Rogan does it. He's not an in-your-face confrontational interviewer. In fact, he tends to kind of morph depending on who he's talking to. And sometimes literally you can tell he may not believe what they're saying, but he gives them enough rope and makes them think, yeah, you're going down the right road. Give me some more of that. Give me some more of that, until they wind up looking very stupid. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, but true. But he's never going to say to her, "You're the worst vice president in the history of vice presidents. Why are we voting for you?"
No, you are 100% correct. He won't. He will not say that. He once again, he won't give her the tough questions. He'll ask her the sorts of questions that once again will give her an opportunity to hang herself. Conversely, I believe, or at least maybe I just want to believe, and it's really going to come down to how much does Bret Baier dislike Donald Trump. And I don't know. I don't know if that interview was a question of him not liking Donald Trump or him just doing his job as a reporter and asking the tough questions. I'm gonna give him a little grace and believe it was asking the tough questions, which means he better do the same thing with Ms. Harris.
I think he's going to come off as a fan of hers, but he's going to ask some of the tough questions again, because he's worried about how he looks after the interview, not how she looks after the interview.
Right. Because in the end, he doesn't want to be Chris Wallace.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Because for those of you who do not remember, Chris Wallace used to be of Fox News fame, basically exposed himself during one of the presidential debates. As how do I want to put this? He definitely exposed himself, not so much as a fan of Biden, but definitely a disliker or a hater of Trump. And in that, he incorrectly fact-checked him a number of times.
Yep. He's a partisan hack. That's what he is.
Yeah, and he tended to be on the partisan hack on the left, sadly. Anyway. It's going to be interesting. So one of the interviews, I don't know when the Rogan interview is, but the Bret Baier interview is supposed to be tomorrow. They're going to film it right before and then air it. So they're not going to edit it or anything. If there's any editing, supposedly it's going to be for time, but they're going to post online the full interview unedited. So we'll get a chance, and we won't get a chance probably to talk about it tomorrow, but we will get to talk about it the day after. So I am looking forward to it because, dude, on 60 Minutes, she got softballs and looked horrible. On ABC News, she got softballs and looked horrible. I got to imagine if she's pressed on any serious questions, it's going to look all bad for her.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Anyway, we shall see. We shall see. And once again, this goes back to how desperate Kamala Harris is right now, because right now she's getting a lot of criticism from a bunch of folks on her who are normally, by the way, on her side of the aisle. This article right here over at CNN kind of says it all. It says Harris warns unhinged Trump is out for total power. Now, when you are totally behind, when you are losing ground, all you have left is to declare that the other guy is a crazy man. Now, mind you, this is the person who hid the health of the president, right, for years, who lied about it for years. But here's what CNN is writing. Kamala Harris is responding to Democratic panic about her White House prospects by turning up the heat on Donald Trump. The vice president warned Monday that the ex-president was unstable, unhinged, and out for unchecked power as she sent a jolt of energy through her campaign with 21 days to go. Quote, watch his rallies, listen to his words. He tells us who he is, and he tells us what he would do if he was elected president, Harris told a large crowd in Pennsylvania after a weekend when Trump's authoritarian rhetoric reached chilling new levels and hinted at the extreme nature of his potential second term. By the way, that last part was not in quotes for those of you who are just listening to the program. That was CNN pontificating, reporting the news. Anyway, continuing on, Democratic Vice President nominee Tim Walz, meanwhile, went even further, suggesting the ex-president's musings about using the military against domestic foes he branded, quote, the enemy within, end quote, could even amount to treason. Harris and her team also aggressively questioned Trump's mental fitness and his capacity to serve another term, turning the tables on the Republican nominee, who for months leveled similar charges against President Joe Biden. Now, Mike, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, it screams of desperation. She has no idea what to do. And even CNN recognizes that she is desperate because she is losing ground. And they're desperate too, because they're going on talking about authoritarianism and all of the pontificating and all of the flowery language in order to say Donald Trump's going to be a dictator. He ain't going to leave he's not going to leave office when he's done. Kind of ignoring, his first term when he left office.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is exactly what it is. It smacks of desperation. This is the death flails, right? This is the say anything you can, throw anything out there, see what sticks to the wall. We've got to save her. We have to save her. That's exactly what's going on, and that's what we're seeing everywhere. Not just CNN. Well, from the campaign, from CNN, from ABC, from NBC, from CBS. Right? We're seeing it all over the place. The only one that, like you said, kind of holds on a little bit is Fox, and I don't think that's because they like Trump. I think that's just because at the end of it, they want to be able to say, "Hey, we were kind of both sides." Remember?
Well, no, they don't want to be both. They want to be both sides or be left slightly anti-Trump without appearing slightly anti-Trump, because a lot of them, they're establishment. A lot of the people there at Fox News are establishment folks. They're not movement conservatives. They're not MAGA conservatives. A lot of the folks there, especially when you start getting up into the executive level, a lot of them are just flat out liberals. But they know their audience, and they know they can't appear to be anti-Trump, or they can't appear to be overly critical of Donald Trump because, if we are, people will... we'll lose our audience. The reason why Fox News is the largest of all of the major networks when it comes to news coverage or cable news is because they have a captive audience. But they're finding they're losing that audience. They're losing them to Newsmax. They're losing them to OAN. They're losing them because people are starting to recognize, in many cases, a lot of them for who they are.
Right. Very true. Very true.
Anyway, she is desperate. And what they're running away from, Mike, is they're running away from their record. And that's the funny part, because when it all comes down to it, you got Joe Biden out there talking about, well, she was right there with every decision, and she was in the room, the last one in the room, and everything that I did, we did together. And by the way, that includes changing U.S. policy to allow Iran to earn $200 billion. No, I didn't say million with an M. I said $1 billion from oil sales. Oh, by the way, that also doesn't include the billions of dollars that we owe, hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't remember if it was hundreds of millions or billions that we gave them, that we allowed them to have. Well, now there is a report, and this is being reported by Breitbart News. And this is something that we already knew, but we didn't necessarily have a dollar amount on it. Right here, it's being reported. It says here, Biden-Harris allowed Iran to earn $200 billion in oil revenue. The Biden-Harris administration gave the Iranian regime access to $200 billion in oil revenues through lax sanctions enforcement, according to a report Monday in the Washington Free Beacon, citing new government data. And I'll read from the Beacon here real quick. It says the full financial toll of this sanctions relief only became clear in recent days following the publication of a hotly anticipated U.S. government report on Iran's oil trade. The U.S. Energy Information Administration, a government agency that monitors the global markets, was mandated under an April 2024 law to publicly tally Iran's oil revenue, providing one of the first official snapshots after 4 years of sparse sanctions enforcement by the Biden-Harris administration. Now, why is this relevant? Who do you think funded the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th? Who do you think is funding the Houthis who are attacking shipping there in the Red Sea and throughout the Middle East? Who do you think is providing resources to Russia as they're fighting in Ukraine? Just about every place where we are engaged, where our allies are engaged, or where we're engaged across the globe, Iran is kicking in cash, and now we know where that cash came from, and we know who Iran has to thank for having access to that cash.
Yeah, absolutely. These are Harris and Biden policies that allowed this to occur, which means they were, Obama and Hillary Clinton policies, the puppet masters behind the puppets that allowed this to occur. And you're exactly right. How does Iran, on the brink of losing any national unity at all and any funding whatsoever, go from, like they were under President Trump and they were desperate to survive, to, oh, look, we got an extra $200 billion in the bank. Where do you think that money came from to support the attacks on Israel, like you said, October 7th? Because of our country's policies, our politicians' policies on the sanctions against Iran and how they reversed them and got rid of them and actually sent money to Iran, right? That's how this occurs.
So let's see. So for them to reverse the sanctions, that means that someone had to be there. Someone had to be in office who was enforcing the sanctions, who made sure there were no major attacks or no new conflicts, were able to be funded against the United States. Gee, I wonder who that person was.
I don't know, but I bet he had orange hair and mean tweets.
Well, orange hair and an orange skin.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever been in front of the South Florida sun. It'll do that to you. It'll do that to you.
Kind of cook you.
Yeah. It's like a basting heat, because it's not just heat, but now you're sweating, and it's like when you baste the turkey, you get that nice orange glow to it. Yeah, that's what happens.
Oh, well, let's hope I don't find out. I don't want to be orange. I don't mind being a nice golden brown, but I don't want to be orange.
Well, it's weird out there because in California you might get charcoal-y from the wildfires, you might get brown from the mudslides, or you just turn yellow from the earthquakes. When you fall into the cracks of the earth, it's pretty scary.
Wow, that sounds like a bunch of racist tropes right there, dude. What's up with that?
No,
you do. Time for Mike to go back to racial sensitivity training.
And what do you have mud that's not brown? I mean, what are you talking about? Do you have charcoal that's not a black color? What?
Oh no, I just have to give you a hard time because that's kind of what we do.
That's it. Craig loves giving me a hard time.
Anyway, talking by the way about running from their record, here's another one. I know when you saw this on the title slate, on title card, you had to be wondering, yacht killer gets sex change thanks to Kamala. What? That's right. Now, while she was
Who
attorney
killed the
general,
yacht? Yeah.
by she did not kill, he did not kill a yacht. Anyway, so when she was attorney general in California, first of all, she was all for people who were prisoners being able to get taxpayer funded sex changes, right? So if you're in jail, even if you are in jail for life, even if you are on death row, if you want a sex change, she, like Oprah's like, you want a sex change? You want a sex change? Everybody's getting a sex change. By the way, that also includes illegal immigrants, but that's another story. Anyway, so this is a story being reported out of the Washington Free Beacon. Let's pull it up here real quick. Here we go. Transgender yacht killer serving life sentence gets taxpayer-funded sex change surgery thanks to Kamala Harris. Quote, he killed my daughter and son-in-law. Now he gets what he wants. All right, let me read this to you. This is crazy. Sitting on death row in 2009, Jacob Johnson Jr., known as the yacht killer, talked about murdering married couple Thomas and Jackie Hawks to obtain the money for a sex change surgery. 5 years earlier, Jacobson lured the Hawkses onto their boat off of the California coast, tied them to the vessel's anchor, and threw them overboard before grabbing a beer from the fridge and starting to fish. Quote, I wanted the surgery and I knew I 100% wanted the surgery, Jacobson told ABC News. Last year, Jacobson's dreams came true when California taxpayers footed the bill for his gender transition surgery, a move made possible thanks to policies and precedents set during Kamala Harris's time as the state's attorney general. Quote, I did receive gender-affirming surgery and breast augmentation on April 5th, 2023. Jacobson, who now goes by Skylar De Leon, wrote in a letter to the Washington Free Beacon. That letter was sent in response to a Free Beacon inquiry into the status of his transition. Jacobson said he is now awaiting transfer to a women's prison from San Quentin. Harris's support for inmates like Jacobson emerged as a campaign issue when a CNN report revealed that she pledged in a 2019 ACLU questionnaire to support taxpayer-funded sex change surgeries for illegal immigrants and prisoners in federal custody. But her history on the issue dates back to at least 2015 during her stint as the Golden State's top cop, a period that Harris cited on the campaign trail as proof of her tough on crime approach. So she is so tough on crime that if you murder people in order to obtain the financial resources to get a sex change, she's going to give you the sex change.
How many times we're going to watch her on video say this, right? That she goes, I created the policies. I created the policies that allowed this to happen. Because it's the right thing to do, and it's what I wanted to do. How many times you're going to watch her stand there on video and say, I broke the law. I created a law as an executive branch that allowed this to happen. I created a policy that allowed this to happen. I took money from the California people and gave it to convicted murderers that murdered to get money for a sex change, and then we went to jail. I gave them the sex change. How many times you're going to watch her say this to know she's a whack job and she has no place in any part of politics?
Right. No, and it's here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this. She's not a whack job. What she is that she is a machine politician. She will do whatever her puppet masters tell her to do. Right? If they say give those inmates sex changes, she's like, yes, they can have sex changes. Well, what if they're an illegal immigrant? Yeah, even the illegal immigrants. Yeah, give them sex changes too. She is being run by the neo-Marxist left leadership there in the Democratic Party. The same people who are running Joe Biden right now. Right? That's why they wanted him. They wanted an empty suit. She is an empty suit. She just happens to be a 20-year younger empty suit.
Yeah, I still stand by my professional analytic position. She's a whack job.
Okay. Duly noted. But just so y'all know, this is what you get in a Kamala Harris presidency. This is what you're going to get. Tell your friends. If they're in
That's
jail,
right. You're going to get a sex change. You hear that? You're going to get a sex.
you're going to get a sex. We're going to make you get a sex
You're gonna get a sex
change.
change.
Matter of fact, they're going to mandate sex changes for everybody.
That's it.
In particular
Sex
for
change is
conservatives.
mandated. There you go.
All right, folks, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your hog holster today. The other day, we talked a little bit about the whole Barack Obama coming out and deciding to scold black men because they don't feel like they're getting their appropriate support. Well, I love this little cartoon here. It's got Barack Obama, and it's him when he was speaking to these folks, to the brothers, and he's like, "You must vote for Kamala, or you ain't a brother." And then one of the dudes in the background saying, "I'm voting for Trump. Don't make me bring Michelle in here. Don't be sexist."
Yeah, it's just amazing. When we were watching that video, I said to you afterwards, I said, look at the guys on the background. They're like, what the hell are we doing here? Why are we here?
Well, what made it even worse is, like I said, they made it out like, dude, do you really need to be like lecturing us on stuff like that? I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, no. How can I don't like her because she's a bad candidate, number one, and number two, she sucked at every political office she's held.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
Moving
Absolutely.
right along. You'll love this one if you saw the thing here. It says, Democrats spent every waking hour for 3.5 years demonizing white men and blaming them for all society's ills. Then they spend 6 months drinking beer and posing with rifles to desperately win their vote.
Every time. It doesn't matter if it's white men, black men, Hispanics. They will cater to you and lie to you and make you think you're one of them and they're one of you, and then turn their back on you the moment they're elected.
Yes, and by the way, you're 100% right. And it ain't just white men; it's men. Period. If there's anything we get from these last two, it's like they hate men, and they're mad that men won't kowtow to them. If you think about all the things they deem to be good to make you a good man, it's if you're not willing to kowtow to a woman just because she's a woman, then you're a bad man. You're not a real man.
Yeah, look at her drinking that beer too. She's like, look at the way she's holding it. It's like, I hate beer, but I'm going to make you think I like it.
Hey, dude, I was like, that was so The thing about it is that she's inauthentic. Dude, they had to hold a practice reception where she could pretend to talk to people and pretend to be like, I don't know, not unlikable.
Yep.
She's got poor, I mean, nobody likes her. Nobody who meets her in person likes her. Anyway, but they're desperate. And that's the reason why you've got Tim Walz attempting to load a shotgun on camera. That's the reason why you've got her drinking a beer, is because the polls are looking bad. But that's okay. Democrats have a solution. Rob Schneider from Jaws, and he's on the Jaws boat. You guys might remember
that
the
would
scene.
be Roy Scheider. That'd be Roy Scheider.
Roy.
I'm
sorry,
Schneider.
Roy Scheider.
Not Rob
Roy
Schneider.
Right. I'm sorry, wrong guy. I'm sorry. Anyway, from Jaws, when Democrats see poll numbers, we're going to need more dead voters.
We're going to need more dead voters. Yep. Rob Schneider.
Right. My apologies. All right, and then finally, I'll let you. This last one, Mike. This is when you meet someone who uses pronouns.
Listen, if you're not watching the new seasons of Beavis and Butthead, you're wrong. They're just classic comedy. But it says when you meet someone who uses pronouns, you got old Beavis giving Butthead a gender kick right in the groinal area.
It's actually more appropriately referred to on the meme as a gender check.
Gender check. Check your packages. Check your packages.
Check your packages. All right, folks. Well, hey, that just about wraps up the program. But before we go, we got one more thing to do. That's right, you guessed it. One more quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get yourself AR barrels and AR pistol barrels, rifle barrels. You get them straight from the manufacturer. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best tactical gear on the market, best field gear, best outdoor gear, no matter what it is, you get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors. Just follow the links in the description of this program. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back mañana for Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and if you get a chance, make sure to send a few downrange. We will holler at you later.
Pew pew.